Schedule released tomorrow. Happy schedule eve to all. I have divided all of the Texans games into 5 groups. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about some news becoming official. Let's talk about a break for DeMeco Ryans and a hell of a lot else. Go inside the locker room, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Ayy. Locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize. Every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the headlock. Localize every time. Can't stop. Won't stop.
It is the locker room. Number one source for Texans digital content. It is schedule release eve. Happy schedule release eve to all. Hopefully you laid out the cookies for the schedule clause to come through. It is going to be a very stacked day tomorrow. Reminder, Frank Ross live on SNL with myself and Cody Stutes. All super chats go towards his awesome charity in which he provides haircuts for homeless people. He actually does the haircuts, a lot of them. So be sure to come through. All of the proceeds will benefit Frank Ross. We'll cut up with Frank Ross. We'll ask him some football questions. Special teams have been a strength of the squad. Probably his worst year last year when it comes to the production of special teams, and we'll ask him about that as well as all the other questions people may want to know about Frank Ross. Super chats donated to his cause. That's at 4:00, the normal SNL. At 7:00, we will have a special live stream when the schedule is released with myself and Cody Stutes. So special programming. And then here at 10:30, we'll make sense of it all. We will have new angles and we will react to the schedule again. So it's going to be a busy day tomorrow. Don't let anyone tell you that the schedule release does not matter. It's really, really big. It can make or break your season, quite frankly, regardless of whether you do or do not know the opponents. On the super chat, HD AV, as always, getting stuff popping.
Swarm,
aka Austin Jack, aka the Motorcycle King. He is there. So yeah, schedule release tomorrow. I've divided the games into 5 different groupings. And I think these are the best way to look at the layout of these games. There are 5 groups. We'll go over those in a sec, but first let's talk about the dub that the Texans got today. They will not be playing an international game. And I know some people thought international games, they're cool. No, they're not. The playing surfaces are often a pain in the ass. Philadelphia was obviously able to overcome it last year. The travel sucks, and it's just not that cool. If you're a traveling fan and you can afford to go, that's awesome. You go to London and watch the Texans. Congratulations to you. That's really good for you. But as far as from like a competitive standpoint, really not that cool. I will say, though, as a football fan, and I don't know if y'all feel this way, I really do enjoy watching those games at 8 a.m. Just to have on to kill time before the game. I know people fan different, people consume football different, but one of the most difficult things for me on a Saturday, and that's why College Game Day is so great and it's so iconic, is waking up early and not being able to go back to sleep because you're ready for the games to start. On Saturday, you're ready for the 11 a.m. kick, and on Sunday, you're ready for that noon kick. And if you get up at 8, I mean, you are just killing time. Unless you have to go to the stadium if it's a home game. But even then, sitting in the press box and just having a game on is great. Getting a head start on the fantasy. I love watching. And as a consumer, I'm a big fan of having the option of the game being on the second that I wake up. So I'm a big fan of watching it. I don't know that teams really enjoy playing them, to be honest with you. So we will chalk down a W for DeMeco Ryans and company on schedule day eve. So chalk down a dub for DeMeco Ryans and company. Chewy on the chat says, got called out to work just in time for the night stream. Well, shout out to you, Chewy. Hopefully you're holding it down there. I have 5 schedule groups for the games. 5. And y'all know how I do things. It's not going to be 100% serious. Some of it's going to be serious. Some of it is not. But I think this is a good way to look at the schedule. And we're going to start with the upper tier battles. And when I say upper tier, I'm talking about the AFC conference. There are 3 games in the upper tier battles. This has been the case the last couple of years. These teams have remained in the upper tier of the AFC. Kansas City. I think we're going to see a new look Chiefs team. I think there's going to be a lot more speed at wide receiver. I could see Patrick Mahomes statistically carrying this squad. The Chiefs have done a really good job of changing the formula for how they win games. They've adapted. There's been times where the defense has carried them. There's been times where the offense carries them. There was a time where they had Tyreek Hill. There was a time where they didn't have Tyreek Hill. They've been able to make do. It's going to be a little bit different. And despite any talk about some sort of decline, they are still in the upper tier. So that's cut and dry. Baltimore, same thing, kind of knocking on the door with the Chiefs. They own the Texans. They're 3-0 against the Texans in the DeMeco Ryans era. First game of the 2023 season, last game of the 2023 season. And then last year on Christmas, the assing where Cal McNair and Hannah McNair waved as they went out to the Beyonce concert in a convertible as the Texans were getting their ass kicked. Then you have the Buffalo Bills, who the Texans did beat last year, but they're further along in their process in a better squad than the Texans. So that's tier number 1, the upper tier battle tier, where you're going to Kansas City, to Baltimore, and you're hosting the Buffalo Bills. Tier number 2 is in-tier battles. And this is teams that are in the same AFC tier as you. The Los Angeles Chargers, who you beat the crap out of in the playoffs last year. They're there. And then the Denver Broncos, who, by the way, I would love to see the Texans and Denver Broncos in primetime. I think that would be a cool primetime matchup, kind of an under the radar. That's kind of one of my wishes. Those are the two the in-tier battles. At Los Angeles against the Chargers and Denver against the Broncos. So you have 5 games knocked out when it's coming to AFC tiers. Next one grouping is the pipeline showdowns. DeMeco Ryans versus Kyle Shanahan, his mentor. And then at Los Angeles against the Rams. And I would like to see this game called on Fox by Tom Brady. I would like to see this be like a 3:30 kickoff. Tom Brady calling the game between the Texans and Rams. That's my request. Send that to Fox. But this is Nick Caley, and we don't know what the hell a Nick Caley offense is. It's one of the big mysteries of the offseason, the big mystery of the offseason, versus Sean McVay, kind of one of his mentors. So these are the pipeline showdowns. So we have the upper tier battles between Kansas City, Baltimore, and Buffalo. We have the in-tier battles at Los Angeles and against Denver Chargers. And then we have the pipeline showdowns, DeMeco Ryans against Kyle Shanahan, and then Nick Caley versus Sean McVay. Grouping number 4. Now, we know that DeMeco Ryans can make even the good quarterbacks look crazy, and they can look absolutely awful. And there's some of these quarterbacks have had success against him, but I think with this defense, this tier is called this tier is called the quality yet DeMeco feastable QBs. And I see that his name's Scott, right? Yeah, Scott, the one with like 12 daughters. I think it's 3 or 4. But I'm doing tiers just based on AFC. I'm not saying the Texans are above any of these NFC teams. I'm just doing the tiers based on the AFC. But I get what you're saying. Pull this comment up. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, the Rams could have easily gone to the Super Bowl last year. I think they just ran into snow against the Eagles. But I'm just doing it based on the AFC. But I'm with you. Number 4 is quality yet DeMeco feastable QBs. In other words, I think these are good quarterbacks, and they've had games where they've had a little bit of success against DeMeco Ryans. But given the fact that he's seen most of these guys multiple times, I think he can absolutely feast on these quarterbacks, much like we saw last year with Justin Herbert and Josh Allen at NRG. And this accounts actually for 8 of the games. So we've already accounted for 3, 4, 5, 7 in the first 3 tiers. This accounts for 8 more games. And this is quality yet DeMeco feastable QBs, that group. And that's Trevor Lawrence twice, Daniel Jones likely twice. Anthony Richardson's not the starting quarterback. You don't pay a guy $13 million or whatever they paid Daniel Jones to come in there. Like, that's a fake quarterback competition. Quite frankly, LaFar Jackson's not good, aka Anthony Richardson. So we all know that. So DeMeco Ryans can have his way with these QBs. Then you have Geno Smith with the Raiders, Baker Mayfield with the Bucks, who kind of hit or miss with DeMeco. He's had games where he's struggled, and he's had games where he's had success. And then Kyler Murray, who, if you read between DeMeco's dialogue, he seems to have a ton of respect for Kyler. And Sam Darnold, who had a hell of a game last year with the Vikings, but he is still Sam Darnold. And we don't know what he's going to be with Seattle. So this is an interesting one where the defense, the Texans defense, like these quarterbacks, and this is where I think the Texans, the schedule, like when you look at it in these ways, and I know this kind of seems like a bit, but I think this is important, like this group, because we know that going back, we know that the tier 1 battles, those are good teams and they have better rosters at this point. And we don't know what direction they're going to go, but they deserve respect as top tier teams. These you're very familiar with, where they're at. Denver, they're kind of the same situation the Texans were in 2 years ago. And the Chargers right there. So in this, like, if you split these games, I think you're feeling pretty good about yourself. The top tier battles, we've seen them beat Buffalo, and we've seen them struggle with Kansas City and Baltimore, although they played the Chiefs pretty tough. They really haven't played the Ravens tough. So I don't know, like maybe you win one of those 3. If you take 2 out of 3, then you're feeling good about yourself. But those are tough games. And I think we kind of have if you play 500 ball in those top 2 tiers, in those 5 games, around 500 ball, 2 and 3, 3 and 2, whichever, whether you're on the north side or south side of 500, I think you would be okay with yourself. You could also split these pipeline showdowns and feel okay about yourself as well. And the Texans, by the way, outside the division, they're 11-11 in the regular season and 13-13 with DeMeco Ryans, and they've won the division twice. So if you split in LA and against San Francisco, you feel pretty good. So that's 7 ball games right there, where if you're 4-3, 3-4, you're still in decent shape, and you still have 10 other games to figure out what you're going to do. So the top 3 tiers, you feel okay about. This is where if the Texans are going to have a good season, they're going to feast. And I think there's a couple of things that play into their favor. Number 1, I think they're going to have an elite defense. I made that very clear. I can't guarantee a lot. I can guarantee it's going to be a good defense. How good? Who knows? But it's going to be a damn good defense. We know what DeMeco Ryans can do. We know what Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter can do. We know what the secondary is capable of. This is going to be a good defense. And the arrow is pointing up with this defense. And these are quarterbacks that any given Sunday, they can have good games and they can also look terrible. And there's a lot of familiarity there. So this is really what's going to make your season, this tier right here. This isn't a bit. This is serious. Like, this is, we've gone through the top 3 tiers. I'm trying to lay this out as smooth as I can. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Happy schedule eve to you all. But this is where the Texans are. So Trevor Lawrence, you get to see him twice. Assuming that he's healthy, you get to see Trevor Lawrence twice. Daniel Jones, you get to see him twice. Geno Smith, you get to see him. DeMeco's seen him before. Baker Mayfield, DeMeco's seen him before. Tampa Bay, they've been taking advantage of that division for a while. It'll be interesting to see what they look like, especially given the fact that they're on their third coordinator in as many years. Baker Mayfield just keeps making coaches. Kyler, I like the Cardinals. I like the way that they fight for Jonathan Gannon. We don't know what Kyler's going to be. That's hit or miss. And then Sam Darnold right there. So these games, 2 against Lawrence, 2 against Jones, and then the other 4. This is what I think is going to make your season. And I'm not going to sit here and say that you write it in Sharpie that they play 500 in the first 3 tiers, but you could easily see the Texans going 6-2 in this tier. And even if you're 500 in that other tier, let's say you're 500 in 5, 6, 7. Let's say you're under 500. You're near 500 in those 7 games. You're 3-4. If you go 6-2 here, then you're right there at 9 games. 10 gets you into the playoffs. 10 has won the division the last 2 years, and we expect the division to be more comfortable. If you go 5-3, then you're right there. You're right there at 8, and it's kind of different. So this is what's going to make or break. And when it comes to the strength of the Texans and what they have and their superpower, this should be very encouraging. This should be very encouraging because those other quarterbacks, they can have bad games, but it's very rare that they wet the bed. We saw Josh Allen wet the bed last year at NRG, and we saw Herbert as well. But there's better quarterback play there, and there's better offensive minds. This is the tier, number 4, the group that is going to make or break the Texans season. And if you're looking at this team and you're looking at what you can count on with the Texans, then you should feel pretty good about this. And the other thing about these quarterbacks that can hit or miss, Daniel Jones is in his first year in Indianapolis. We don't know what that's going to look like. Geno Smith's in his first year with the Raiders. No idea what the hell that's going to look like. And then Sam Darnold, let's be honest, Sam Darnold had the best year of his career last year. If you let's be real. He's not going to play any better than he did last year. That's as good as it gets. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. He probably knows it. That's why he went and got the money in Seattle. And quite frankly, the Vikings know it. If the Vikings thought that they were going to get out of Sam Darnold what they got last year, regardless of J.J. McCarthy and what they believe in him, they would not have let him go. They would not have let him go. They know it. You know it. I know it. So this group is what's going to decide it. And then you have at worst a split, which is what happened last year. And that's the toss-up between crappy or bad, the Tennessee Titans, a.k.a. the old Oilers. We know they're going to suck. It's just a matter of how bad are they going to suck. I mean, Cam Ward's not going to continue the trend of a rookie quarterback having a historic year. He's not Jaden Daniels. He's not C.J. Stroud. He's not. He wouldn't have been a top 5 quarterback last year. And quite frankly, this was just a situation where you had to draft a quarterback. You can mark this. You can pull it, whatever. They're not going to be good. Quite frankly, we don't know what the organization's even doing. We don't know what their coach is doing. There's no identity in Tennessee. Now, should there be excitement? Yeah, sure. You got a new quarterback. That's always fun. And you've added some new players. But this is a toss-up between crappy or bad. But Group 4 is what's really going to decide stuff for the Texans. And there's some feastable QBs there for DeMeco Ryans. So you should feel pretty decent about that. For sure. You should feel incredibly good about that. Let's browse the feed for a second. Some things that I saw on the net today during this slow news time. And Adam Schefter put this up on X. But this is the travel for each team in the league based on scheduling. You can see the Texans right here. They're right in the middle. So they're right there in the 14 to 15. And you can see the Texas teams are right by each other. And then the California teams far west are near the top. And then you have Seattle too. But the Texans are right there. I don't know what the hell that matters. But those are the miles traveled. And quite frankly, it's one of those times where these types of graphics hit a little bit harder during this point in the season. Something else I saw that was interesting, and I'm actually going to observe this for the first time with you. I just saw this earlier today, and it's Pro Football Focus, which is always a polarizing site, but they have complete offseason grades for all 32 teams. Let's look together and see what grade they gave the Texans. And I'm assuming it's not great, and it's going to be centered around offensive line. So let's jump to the Texans. Yeah, right on cue. They're giving the Texans a D. They got the Colts with a B+. They got the Jags with a B+ as well. They got the Texans with a D. Let's read their reasoning. It's hard to look at this offseason as a success for the Texans. They already struggled on the offensive line last year, as Laramie Tunsil was their only offensive lineman who earned a PFF overall grade of above 70.2, and they traded him away during a pivotal time in C.J. Stroud's rookie contract window. Houston tried to make up for it by bringing in a lot of new bodies, but there's no guarantee they gel well. The team did get better at receivers, ceiling, and floor, and the secondary is stacked, but I also have concerns about Texans' interior D-line. I agree with most of what they said there. I don't think there's anything to be concerned about on the interior D-line because of the surroundings and what they're asked to do. The offensive line is clearly an unknown. So there's that. And I do agree, based on what they ended the season with, they did improve the wide receiver room. So, I mean, no one's going to give the Texans an A+ for the unknown. So I don't necessarily know, but I will say, and this is brought up by Cebu, PFF is not going to give the Texans the benefit of the doubt because,
damn it, Bobby.
And neither are Sam and Steve, 33rd team. We talk about that podcast a lot. We like it because Bobby Slowick used to work at PFF, and Sam and Steve worked with Bobby Slowick at PFF. So they're not going to they're not going to give you the benefit of the doubt, and they're going to look at Bobby Slowick as kind of a scapegoat and a victim. So PFF is not going to give you a fair shake when it comes to grades. So that's just kind of how they roll. But those are the schedule groups. Other news with the Texans, Foley Fatukasi, the signing becomes official. Speaking of that interior D-line, they brought back Fatukasi. We knew this happened. They officially made it official, and he's going to be back. And that's that. So short one today. Tomorrow, 3 streams. Trying to get myself ready for that. We got Stutz and me, 4 o'clock, Frank Ross. Join, Super Chats, all donated to the cause, and Frank will go more in depth on that, and we'll cut up with him. Then we have the schedule release at 7 o'clock. That'll be a super stream. That'll probably go 90 minutes. And then locker room at 10:30. So let's watch the end of this basketball game. They just tied it up. This is going to be another interesting finish of many in the NBA. And we're all in this together. Tomorrow's going to be a busy-ass day. It's going to be a fun day. Subscribe, like, right along. And always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Happy schedule leave. Get some rest.
Yeah, we top 2 and we not too plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number 1. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we